and working my way back to the front. So when we deal with Matthew 13, we talk about the end production of a person's decisions in life. So I'm starting at the end, and then I'm gonna work my way back to where we're supposed to be now. Most people who have a calling in their life, it was something took place even before they were born, and when they were born, their life gave signs and indication that things were different for you. So most people, and when I say this, I'm talking about people who save and embrace salvation. I'm not talking about people who just come to church and receive the Holy Ghost and just stay themselves. But a person chosen of God, there was a separation that started way before they came to church. God dealing with them way before they came to church. And a lot of people, myself included, I fought it. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand why I felt so different. I didn't understand why what life had dealt to me didn't agree with me at all. And so I had to adjust. And what's sad is to see somebody in the church and the separation take place and they fight it. And you're going to either become a worse you or a devil. So God deal with us in his process. That was you. Let's see, was that you? What you look around for? You get in the situation right now. No, you go down. You matching stuff and don't even know. Y'all love the Lord. They're like, Al, you gave me this wife, trying to blame somebody else. You match that button. Matthew 13, and let's start reading at the 24th verse. Now, this is what's going to take place at the end. Who will read? You going to read it, Mr. Terry?
Yes.
All right, 24 through 30, read.
Another parable put he forth unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. Verse 25. But while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. Verse 26. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. Verse 27. So the servant of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst thou not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then hath it tares? Verse 28. He said unto them, an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? Verse 29. But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them. Verse 30. Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together the first tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn.
Now we're at a place where God is gathering the tares, all of them together, gathering the wheat. There's a separation among us. So therefore, the separation began way before. You're not going to fight. Maybe in the beginning, there will be a fight at the will of God because of unmatureness, ignorance. But somewhere down the road, the person that's chosen of God gonna begin to conform. There's no such thing as you're gonna be you all the way to the end. You're gonna be like Jesus. before it's all the way, before it's all over. We look at the life, huh? We turn the light on, turn the switch on now. We look at the life of Paul. Just let the switch down and push the slider up. We look at the switch down and the slider up on the O. Yeah. All sliders up. Now, Lord, don't bother the rest of them. There's a life that you live. There's a separation. I had to go through it. Everybody that's really chosen of God go through it. And the way you recognize it is that Paul was a man that fought the church. And when the call came in Paul's life, the people of God remembered how he treated them. And they didn't too much, they all didn't embrace him, but he was saved. And when Paul came with such a revelation until they realized that he was an apostle. So I can recall in the scripture they say, "You apostle to the heathen," and which was biblical. And the first 12 was apostle to Israel. And so they didn't mind ostracizing him and putting him out, because even in his ministry, his attitude manifested itself. But what you see before it's all over with, the problems and the situations that occurred in his life made him change. When you see a person refusing to change or repent, there's nothing that we can do but pray for them. You know, I don't feel sorry for a person that make a decision not to live for God, or gonna act like this thing works. If it was poison, everybody be dying. If this wasn't the right thing, then everybody be going the same direction. If somebody giving out poison and everybody in the room drinking it, out there in the world, everybody die. But if another person is working for them, several people is working for them, and it's not working for you, that means there's something wrong with you. Because it's working for me. It's working for me. I see I got enough people to support me. We can almost do whatever we have to do, but you have to be separated. 2 Corinthians 6:14. When the Lord wants you to literally cut folks loose. You can't passively still be this, even when you get in the church. Because remember, I started at the ending from the beginning to start separating the tare and the wheat. Because these people gather together, they're gathering together. That's who they communicate with. That's who they're in fellowship with. They got some. Look at the persons. You can examine your own self. Look at who you hold your personal conversation with. Look who you close to. How are they in the church? What they doing in the church? You know, they gathering together. Because God gathering all of them together, all the tare, so he can put them in a barn and burn them. You know, simple as that. And God brought all his people together to prepare them to come with him. So the separation already took place. People get mad and turning into devils because of the way they treated. Now, if you're going through some heavy tests, for me to be your pastor, for me to be the bishop, the presiding bishop, don't you know I had to go through much more evil than you? And this thing works. It works exactly the way he said it do. Some people took advantage of me. Some people used me. Some people lied on me. They talked about me. I couldn't respond. He told me not to say nothing. He said, I'll handle it. He said, before it's all over with, you're going to see everybody reap what they sow. And that's the life that we live. 2 Corinthians 6:14, read.
Be ye not unequally yoked together with unbelievers. But what fellowship hath righteousness with unrighteousness? And what communion have light with darkness? And what concord hath Christ with Belial, or what part hath he that believeth with an infidel? And what agreement hath the temple of God with idols? For you are the temple of the living God. As God hath said, I will dwell in them and walk in them, and I will be their God, and they shall be my people.
Now notice the 17th verse. Ain't no way around this. Read.
Wherefore come out from
Matter of
among
fact,
them.
if you don't, when you do this, he said, you are my sons and my daughters. So if you don't do it,
You're not mine. Read. 2 Corinthians 6, 17 and 18. Read.
Wherefore come out from among them, and be ye separate, saith the Lord, and touch not the unclean thing, and I will receive you. And I will be a father unto you, you shall be my sons and daughters, saith the Lord Almighty.
now he said, now I want you to separate yourself. Come out from among them. He said, don't touch it. Don't you do it. He said, and I will, man, who in the world worth touching? That God
Don't want to receive you when you do. He don't want you. Who in the world, what is it? I need to see this thing. That you done came to the conclusion. I mean, the devil done talked any of y'all in here before? The devil done told you ain't gonna make it, you ain't right. You ain't no different than nobody else. Told me that, told me everybody else that. I just came to the conclusion, I'm gonna either believe what God says, or I'm gonna believe what the devil says. Matter of fact, what you say don't even really count. Because you just you. You ain't no master. 2 Corinthians 7 and 1. We're dealing with separation. Read.
Having therefore these promises, dear beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all filthiness of the flesh and spirit, perfecting holiness in the fear of God.
Most people, they fight and conquer the filthiness of the flesh. They fail in the filthiness of the spirit. You can fight your flesh, but are you fighting your spirit? Are you fighting what your heart is trying to take you? What are you fighting? Those thoughts that come in your mind, those feelings, the lasciviousness is trying to overtake you. You fight it through the flesh, but are you fighting in the spirit? Is a spirit allowed to come and say anything to you, and then you walking in him like you got a revelation from hell? You know what? I had a dream last night, and Lord showed me that you were kissing on somebody. Then you walk in here like, yeah, they ain't right. They ain't right. And your revelation came from hell. Hewell. That's where it came from. Yeah, the Lord showed me something.
You need to stop lying. You don't even have the love of God in you for him to show you stuff. Why would God show you God people when you don't like them? Because you're going to come to a negative conclusion. Whatever he showed you. Because in your spirit, you trying to condemn folks anyhow. There was a call on our life before we came here. We was already rejected. So why was the rejection in the world, you survived it and came to God, but the rejection in the kingdom, you act like you want to go back to the world rejection, as if, oh, I can live with that rejection, but I can't really live with this rejection. That rejection out there is what made us come here. So if he say separate yourself from the world, you separate yourself from the world, you get in the church, he pick and choose. God do have a say so in the direction that you're going to go. Exodus 19 and 5. Read.
Now, therefore, if you will obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all peoples, for all the earth is mine.
You still going to be strange. You still ain't going to fit in, even after he called you.
You gonna come into church and now you think, oh, I don't do what I used to do. No, you still peculiar. You still strange. Because everybody in the church ain't saved. Everybody in the church ain't heaven bound. So you come among his people, he said, ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me, unto God, above all people, for all of the earth is mine. He said, now, you come in here and think everybody's supposed to love you. This ain't not false religion who done base a relationship with God with materialism and money and people, and then you esteem your family above the kingdom and all this other stuff. This ain't none of that. This is the biblical church. We got the real fight on our hand. And if you want to have a victory, we got to go to the same process that's written for us. Exodus 33:16, read.
For wherein shall it be known here that I and thy people have found grace in thy sight? Is it not in that thou goest with us? So shall we be separated, I and thy people, from all the people that are upon the face of the earth.
He said, I'm getting all my people. That's from the beginning. Matthew 13, you don't have to go there. But from the beginning, so he's separating the tare, he gathered all them together. He's separating the wheat, he gathered all them together. He was doing this the whole time. He said now, he was getting ready to take them to a place, a land flowing with milk and honey. So he said, now, you can't bring everybody along with you. He said, for wherein shall it be here, known here, that I found, and I and thy people have found grace in thy sight. Is it not that thou goest with us, so shall we be separated? Y'all gotta stop it. We'll be separated, and I and thy people from all the people that are upon the face of the earth. I'm gonna separate you. And I'm at the place now where I know these things are a matter of the heart. Because I know I'm not no better than nobody else. It was flat out decisions that I let people treat me any kind of way. Even now, they talk about me, they do things, and I don't even respond. God, you got to be so much in love with him, he could even tell you what they're doing. And you don't even care as long as I keep my relationship with God. Why? Because if your hope is in this world only, then you're going to be a miserable person. I know one day I'm going to be in his face, face to face. I know that everybody that belongs to him, we're going to bow down and worship him and be to him face to face. You don't have to feel like I got to always live like this. I got to always be around these people. Somewhere down the road, I'm looking forward to the day when I can sit at his feet. I can just listen to his words and worship him and adore him. So some tests are so intense, you got to think out of this world. You can't just be thinking about, Lord, when you going to bless me down here? When you going to bless me? Because we have to deal with such an evil. You have to deal with people who smile in your face and talk about you behind your back. And you got to love them anyway. You got to have the love of God in you. Everywhere they go, they just plant negative seeds. And then the Lord tell you, he said, yeah, I allow it. Because I want you to know who is friend of your enemies. I want you to know. I want you to know who embrace what they say about you, who embrace what they feel about you. I want you to know them people too. So I allow it to happen, and I let you know. You better not get mad. Better not pick up a spirit. Just love them anyway. This is a matter of the heart. Because in some conclusions, there's no earthly answer. There's no earthly answer
to the way you treat it. There's no earthly answer to all the things that have happened to us in the past. There's no earthly answer. The only answer is, I gotta see Jesus. I'm gonna be with him face to face. Because he allowed everything to happen so I won't be too close to what's not his. And what he said, the only reason, you go back to Matthew 13 and the 28th verse. Read. It's on your email.
He said unto them, an enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, without then that we go and gather them up?
He said, now, will you go and gather them up? What did he say? 29th verse.
But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root up also the wheat with them.
He said, not right now. I ain't gonna do it right now. I'm gonna go ahead and let them just go ahead and gather over there together, and I'm gonna let mine gather together. He said, no, don't root them up right now. Why? Because it's some tare that done wrapped up with some wheat. 30th verse. Let both grow together.
Let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of the harvest, I will say to the reapers, gather ye together first the tares, and bind them in bundles to burn them. But gather the wheat into my barn.
Okay, now, how do you gather together tare and wheat? If you let your grass grow, your pretty grass in your yard, if you let it grow a little longer, the only way you're going to recognize them weeds is they'll stick up a little higher. If you let it grow a little more, then they'll stick up a little higher. But if you cut it, they all look the same. The Lord said, and you got to let them grow. Say, don't bother with them. Let them stay around there. Let them grow, and I'm going to show you because they're going to stick out like a sore thumb. You're going to recognize it. When you cut that grass, all of it look like grass. You don't cut it for about a month or two, you're going to see the difference. He said, I'll do it then, because I can just snatch them up. Because they're gonna look so different from mine. And guess what? The tails gonna be taller, and they're gonna stick out. Why? Because they're gonna think they're right. They think they are successful because they have grown in the flesh greater and have actually got some of us like we scared of you, but we ain't really scared of you. You know, just don't want to deal with you. Why? Because you grow. Oh, yeah, I know you had a problem, but I didn't know you was that crazy. You stick out like a sore thumb. Or you're going to go and let the process come. When it comes to gather, you're going to because see, when you cut something, it's going to hurt. When you uproot something, it's going to be changed. Or you're going to let the process come, and it's going to uproot the evil. Uproot the evil heart. Uproot the flesh. It's going to uproot it. And you're going to hold on to your place in God. Tell somebody you got to be uprooted. That's what separated how some justify themselves in their sin. Leviticus 23, the 20th chapter, 23rd verse, and the 24th verse. Read.
And you shall not walk in the manners of the nation, which I cast out before you, for they committed all these things, and therefore I abhorred them. But I have said unto you, you shall inherit their land, and I will give it unto you to possess it, a land that floweth with milk and honey. I am the Lord your God, which have separated you from the other people.
He said, I separate. You see, I got a blessing down here for you, but I separate. I was raised up off of teaching. People raised up now off of good times, hooping and hollering.
I was raised up off of teaching. And that's where it get inside of you. And now it's like if you a good entertainer, if you can hoop, and not, don't get me wrong, I love some good preaching too, man. So they can hoop. I love that too. But somewhere down the road, you're gonna need a full course meal. You can't just be eating Snickers bar all the time. You gonna want some meat. You know, every now and then, you know, you want some neck bones and some collard greens. Let me tell you something. You eat enough of them McDonald's hamburgers, well, you know you're young. They probably can eat it every day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. But get a little older, around my age, then your body gonna say, no, you ain't gonna put all that stuff in me. When I was little, I drank all that milk. I eat the cereal and chug a little the milk, you know, and so forth. Now I'm lactose. You won't want to be around me sucking on some milk. You know, look like I love steak, and then I couldn't afford it, and I can afford steak now, but I sure know I can't eat it all the time because my body tells me I can't eat them ribs all the time. Me and Elder Goolsby used to buy a slab a piece, and we eat a whole slab. Slab of ribs. He buy a slab, I buy a slab, and then, but by the time we get home, you got a sandwich. The family ain't know we had a slab. We be ate down to a sandwich, and they say, I brought you a sandwich. We ate 3 sandwiches. And then one day I ate that slab with other goods, my head went to pounding, boom, boom. Felt like my heart beat, I could hear it in my brain, boom, boom. So I said, what's wrong with me? What is this here? Got a headache, wouldn't go away, and my heart was beating, felt like I could feel the blood in my head. Boom, 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 boom. And somebody, I think you got high blood pressure. So I couldn't eat them ribs like that no more. I couldn't eat. Your body tell you. You need to know when you need the spirits to change your appetite. You can't just keep doing the same old thing. You keep doing the same old thing, you'll get the same old results. If I would have kept on eating it, Shanice asked me, I heard you used to eat a slab of ribs. I said, yeah. Why you did do it? Because I could. I was like you. I just ate it because it was there. And then when you go to the same person all the time, they there go McLeod. You know what he want? A slab. And he wants you to cut it up too. He don't want it all together because he gonna eat most of it now and take a little piece home. So they already knew me. Me and Elder go sit there and just eat them slabs. And I started getting them headaches, and I said, I can't do this no more. He separated me from Elder Goolsby. Eat slabs. The 26th verse, what did it say? Leviticus 20 and 26.
And ye shall be holy unto me, for I, the Lord, am holy, and have severed you from other people, that you should be mine.
He said, you mine. He said, you mine. I want you to understand, for right now, you belong to me. So everything I'm doing, I'm not bringing you in just to click up yet. Right now, I want you for myself. You mine. Numbers 6 and 2. Read.
Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of the Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Lord.
He said, now you separating yourself. You want to be obedient to me? I'm separating you from myself. For him. I ain't separating. Talking about who you gonna marry. You married to Jesus. That's who you're married to. I'm separating you from myself. I want some alone time with you. And I was dealing with you before you even got saved. I started separating you. That's why I want to let you fit in the world. You did what they did, but you still didn't fit in. I had already started this process. Numbers 23 and 9, read.
For from the top of the rocks I see him, and from the hills I behold him. Lo, the people shall dwell alone, and shall not be reckoned among the nations.
Let me tell you something. I'm gonna tell you something now. Irregardless of how I felt I wasn't no preacher. I felt that I wasn't good enough to do this. I felt I didn't want to be no bishop. I felt I wasn't good enough for it. Everything that I felt, he showed me I could. So the person that holds on to what I eventually creates the devil. You know how to talk on that. All that will mess you up.
How you say it, Bishop?
I want to be like the Most High. You know. And that's the thing you got to be careful of. You know, Isaiah 14. It ain't in your email. You got to go there. Isaiah 14.